Okay, I have the Artti R1 here today for you guys. I got sent out the Artti R1 courtesy of Artti, who sent out the R1 for review in the new Australian audio review tour that I've helped to get together just recently. The R1 is one of the new, the first of few units that we've received for the Australian audio review tour. So thanks again, Artti, for sending these out. I've had an absolute pleasure listening to these and taking notes to review these. So yeah. The Artti R1 is a triple dynamic driver, in-ear monitor with full metal shell. As you can see, it's got the build quality is exceptional for the price of the R1. It comes in at around about $80 US. I have the large stock white tips that came with the Artti R1 on the R1 at the moment, as well as the stock cable. The R1 has, like I said, a full metal shell housing two 6mm titanium dome dynamic drivers, as well as an 8mm beryllium dynamic driver handling most of the lower mids and sub bass, with the two 6mm drivers handling the majority of the upper mids and treble. So yeah, the R1 has an impedance of 20.4 ohms and a frequency response of 20 Hz to 40 kHz with 102 decibel sensitivity. They're pretty easy to drive. I had no trouble driving them with my usual little BTR 3K or my XGI XB2 balanced, or the Truth Air Shear, which I often use in my everyday listening, depending on what, whether I'm out and about or whether I'm home, just testing IMs, that sort of thing. I often use all three of them just to test out different DACs as well. So yeah, you can also order the R1 in a 4.4 balanced. I got this one with a 3.5. Worked fine. The cable's great. It's not a bad stock cable at all. It's a 4-core, high purity high purity copper. Sorry, rather. With a 7.8mm 2-pin, and the R1 comes in with two sets of tips, as you can see, with a pretty nice pocketable carry case. So we're done with all the kind of technical specs and accessories now. Might as well move on to the fun stuff, the sound, how they sound. How would I describe the sound? I'd describe it as warm, fun, and well balanced, with a really nice thumpy bass that gives the R1 a good extension and sense of depth in its presentation. They also have very good imaging, separation and layering of vocals and instruments and the sub bass. Probably better than anything I've previously heard in the R1's price range of, like I said, roughly around $80. Depending on what you purchase, where you purchase from, it may range in price, depending on which websites you may purchase them from, but they're roughly around $80. USD. I'm saying, just to be clear. So let's talk about. Begin with the sub bass. Sub bass has a good extension. It's pretty organic. There's nice texture and rumble. It may bleed into the mids a little bit, but the mids still sound pretty clear to me. They have very nice vocals. Sub bass adds a nice weight and depth to the soundstage as well. Now we move on to the lower mids. Kick drums, bass guitars come in. There's a good natural texture to the lower mids. Kick drums have a medium impact. They're not like super punchy, aggressive in your face or anything like that. They're just there to do their job. Not overly punchy, but they do sound okay. Good texture. Bass guitars have a reasonably good presence as well. Not overly forward. They sound well presented in the sound stage, like the vocals and instruments do. Good detail. They sound fairly natural, as do the vocals and other instruments. The upper mids and vocals, they sound pretty natural too. Good warm presentation, without feeling overly warm or husky. Male and female vocals sound very good. Like they're very natural, very clear. The lower and upper treble, the treble isn't super extended. It's a little more neutral than the mids, but still gives you enough detail to hear cymbals very clearly. Don't expect a lot of shimmer or extension in the upper treble though. It's not going to be particularly sparkly or anything like that. It's just a very neutral, very pleasing, relaxed treble. It does have a pretty nice and natural presentation, like I'd say all of the other parts of the frequency seem to have. Imaging is great as well, better than I've heard from a lot of pretty much anything else in the R1's price range, really. The layering in the instruments and vocals and bass all really pretty good, and makes the R1 just so fun to listen to. Without being analytical or boring at all, it's a very versatile IM that comes that can sound great with many different genres, and has a pleasing sub bass for those who like a little sub bass, which I do as well. Feel quite equally at home with playing metal or hip hop or dubstep, drum and bass, jazz, those kind of things, as well as like tracks with like nice female vocals, like artists like the likes of Aurora or Cash for Gold or Yuko, which I've recently been listening to, which have a great female vocal presence in the R1. I'd consider the R1 to be in the top 5 IMs that I've currently been able to listen to myself, which also include the likes of the Simgot EA1000, the EW200, Juicy Clear, Let's Show S12 Pro, A4 Performer 5, and the Geek World GK100. And just recently I've also received the Simgot EA1000 as well. So being in the top 5 of those IMs, personally, like in my opinion, I think for the price range, it's an absolute stellar performer. Like it's puts the performance of the R1 in the top 5 of these IMs. Personally, in my own opinion, other people may not agree with me, I don't know, but personally I really have been very impressed with how the Artti R1 performs, which for an IM that cost around $80 is pretty good, featuring good considering how some of the IMs that I mentioned. Sure, they might not have the resolution of some of the IMs I mentioned, but the general performance of the R1 is definitely up there with the best that I've personally heard so far. Anyway, that's about all I have to say on the R1 again. Thanks to Artti for sending out the R1 for the Australian Audio Review Tour. It's been an absolute pleasure to listen to. I've really enjoyed listening to the R1, and I'd personally love to add it to my collection and have it as my one of my gatekeepers in my own personal top 5, which has been such a pleasure to be able to review the R1. And thanks again to the group of awesome people I got together that made this possible. With this Australian Audio Review Tour, hopefully this will take us into 2024 and hopefully beyond that. And anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more reviews, including the Simgot EA1000, which I mentioned, and also I have a review coming of the EPZ G10, which I've also been very, very impressed with. So yeah, stay tuned for more reviews, and thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys again very soon. Have a great New Year, with the New Year coming up. Hope you all had a great Christmas as well, and let's hope this continues into 2024, and I'd love to bring you guys more reviews like this, and yeah, that's me for today, really. I'll sign off now, and I'll leave links in the description of my other group members, and yeah, just again, thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this review. So yeah, I'll be off now. I'll see you later.